From colleagues of mine in the caucus, from our staff. We've got a political advisor or a range of political advisors, chief press secretary, chief of staff, and so on. But also I've got sort of friends out in the real world who I call on every now and then as well. Sure. Earlier this year, the Labour Party announced that they wanted to bring in 3 years of post-secondary school free education. And there was a piece about that announcement that I think got overlooked, which is that rather than take it all at once, i.e. to get yourself through university, you could break it up into chunks throughout your career and use it for retraining. And so we know that the way that the economy is going, industries are going to churn even more than they have in the past, which means that people will find themselves having to retrain and skill up much more frequently, and often in quite new sets of skills. And so I like that idea that there's a pool of credit that they can draw on for that kind of rapid, if it's a 2-week retraining course or a 6-week retraining course or anything like that, to help get them back into the workforce if their industry gets disrupted like that. I think that's a really good idea. I think there's the most important issue, and then there's also the most urgent issue. And the most urgent, important issue is our housing crisis. So the housing crisis drives wealth inequality. It drives the poor getting poorer because they're seeing, even while their wages are increasing, actually their cost of living is increasing even more because housing, accommodation costs are going up so much. It's lethal. So our houses are so badly built that 1,600 people a year die in the winter months that don't die when it's warmer, and you have 40,000 visits to the hospital by small kids from respiratory diseases, which comes from living in cold, damp homes. So it's, we are in the midst of an incredible crisis when it comes to housing. The one that's important but doesn't feel as urgent is climate change. What gets me out of bed every morning is the opportunity to make New Zealand a world leader in the fight against climate change. So that's every day, that's what I get up for. My hope for New Zealand is that we do become a world leader in the fight against climate change, that we restore and replenish our forests and our birds and our rivers, and that we end poverty in Aotearoa. So first of all, I'd say that what I call a hygiene factor. So I think that it's really important to vote for a team who, when you look at them, you think, yeah, they've got the temperament for the job, that they've got the kind of diversity that represents New Zealand, and they've got the kind of skill depth and the range of skills and experience that you would want. And then I think you would want that regardless of kind of political ideology. And then I think that the thing to think about is, well, what kind of a country do you want to live in, and who best represents that kind of vision? Oh, well, I'd say a few things. So, we as politicians rely on community organisations, including churches, to act as a bridge between us and the community. So, we hear stories via organisations, and so I would say stay in touch. Keep us honest, keep us linked to those communities. One of the privileges of my job is getting to meet with communities that I would never otherwise have an excuse to interact with. And so I think, your organisation plays a critical role in that kind of thing. I think the other thing, of course, is to encourage people to be involved in the political process. And most people think of it as a fairly ghastly affair with, some evidence. But I would just say, if you want to, there are so many things that will only change as a result of political change. So get involved. Don't just vote, go out and join a political party, volunteer, help out.